Okay, we're live. So who would like to start off with the recap from last time?
So we started in the Hanson Mansion, and we started describing our pieces of it. So Elmorn's room was pretty minimalist, kind of bare bones. Some writings on the wall, crazy writings on the wall. Petrie's room was somewhat much like a teenager. He had shrines to white armored paladins in it, kind of like posters. Kolmar sleeps in a closet.
Yep.
We have non-magical protection, kind of keep the honest thieves out. We all have keys. There was a heavy iron door, front door. Where we all have kind of like magical keys that just kind of unlock when we get near it. There's 5 keys, 1 for each member and Charles. Petrie is still trapped in Thalanis. So we were trying to figure out where he went and like how to get there. All we had stories of what Thalanis is, as well as we had kind of we found his sword, which is very aged. It's important that we get them fast. Try to get them fast because we've heard that when people get stuck in the land, sometimes they reappear like 100 years later. So might be caught in like a time trap, and we might never see him again. Then we met Bob.
Yep.
And he told us a riddle. I don't remember why he was telling us the riddle. I wrote the riddle down, but he's a sphinx. I mean, he had to solve his riddle, and we did, thanks to Elmorn. Then we ended up fighting, going through a portal that Baba opened, and we encountered a couple kobolds and 2 wyverns, and we fought them, and I think that's where we left off.
Yes, I attempted to investigate the situation and critically failed, and the element of surprise was lost.
Yeah, I had forgot about that. So just fill in a couple of the other things that you guys did slay a wyvern and one of the kobolds, which Kolmar immediately raised. And then they left into a dark room. And coming into that room, you guys saw that it was full of rat corpses. And Charles fell into a spike trap that injured him pretty badly. Though Elmorn hugged him back to life. And then
it was a really cool tripwire that I was trying to dismantle. I was in the process of dismantling it and taking it when Marthow burned it up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then from what you guys can gather, there's a door, plain wooden door at the other end of this room. By the way, so that you guys have an idea, these rooms kind of look like at one point they may have been well cut hewn stone, like masoned stone. but it's pretty clear that it's been a very long time since these walls have been kept up. And due to whether they're natural processes or whatever the kobolds have been doing down here, a lot of the stone is now, there are like pits and gaps and craters and cracks all over. The rooms so far appear to be fairly circular, with ceilings, I believe, about 15-20 feet tall. In this, and then so you guys started in that first room, and now you went into this second room with all the rat corpses and everything. And there was the tripwire and the spike trap, which, if you look closely at it, you'll notice it's pretty clear that it was not, like, it doesn't seem to fit in a way. It's like out of place, in that it doesn't seem like it was an original part of the floor plan, so to speak. And then there's a wooden door at the opposite end of the room, and then off to the side in the wall, there's a smaller, looks like kind of a doggy door, which a medium-sized person could fit into, but it's a pretty tight squeeze. And having looked,
sorry, go on.
And having looked into that, you notice that it's kind of a very roughly, like, carved out tunnel.
I think we were trying to go in it at the end of last turn, or last session.
We talked about shrinkage, I think, last time.
Yes.
There was talk
and you can also hear, because the kobolds, they did whistle at some point. They blew into a whistle because he stole it off the corpse that he animated. But you can hear the kobolds yipping and yapping on the other end. Marthow, you speak Draconic, but it doesn't seem to be Draconic that they're speaking. It's more just them doing hoots and calls as if they're kind of taunting you guys.
Oh, they're mocking us. Uh-huh. Okay.
Can I see the end of the tunnel?
Yeah. It's not long. It's probably only about 10 feet long. It does get a little bit wider towards the end, where a person could probably be a little bit more comfortable as they're going towards there, but starting out, it's a tight squeeze.
Kolmar, perhaps it wouldn't be a bad idea to turn invisible, to use your invisibility and kind of scout out. If they're hooting and hollering, that means they're expecting something to come through.
Yeah.
At least they have a chance.
The other end looks to be a doggy flap type deal, as well as it is at the entrance.
What is the doggy flap made out of? Can we tell on our side?
Looks to be some kind of it's either the worst quality leather you've ever seen, or it's some kind of weird cloth.
And
I was thinking rat skin.
Could be rat skin.
I could shoot a firebolt at both or the cloth down there, so it'll burn up, so it won't be it won't be an issue.
That might be a good idea.
I'm gonna pipe a firebolt down the tunnel to burn up the try to burn up the cloth on the other end.
Okay. Give me a percentile roll.
49.
You just missed the cutoff. Because of a combination of the material not being quite that flammable, because it is kind of a leather type substance, and because of the nature of the flap, it just kind of moves out of the way of your firebolt and doesn't really catch long enough for the flames to have any kind of real effect on it. And so what you see is you see the firebolt travel beyond. There's some darkness, is not completely lit, but you do see that it impacts somewhere on the other side. The flap then closes and blocks your view again.
I see.
Did it have some kind of fire retardant properties, Marthow?
I'm not sure. This material is beyond my expertise. I don't usually deal with rat skins. It's the most uncouth material for daily wear.
Well, is the flap that there's two of these flaps, right? There's one right in front of us, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that one off. I'm gonna take it.
Okay. So it seems to be held in place against the stone. Weird glue, perhaps. It smells terrible, but and it becomes especially pungent as you rip it from the wall.
All right.
And then but yeah.
Does Marthow know anything about kobolds' mating habits?
I hope not.
Or does he know of heard stories or something?
Yeah, that's it. Stories.
How much experience does he have?
High quality videos.
Yeah, so let's start there. Has Marthow ever had any kind of interactions with kobolds that would necessitate or promote him having that knowledge to begin with?
Perhaps if he spent a lot of time with House Orion on caravans. It is more than possible that they encountered more than a few kobolds traveling around, maybe even as like highwaymen or highway things.
So that definitely is reasonable. Kobolds are generally stay out of the cities, but there are exceptions. They're more of a rural scavenger type society that typically try to stay in the caves of Khyber.
And it's possible
They don't.
when they've been encountered that, maybe there'd be some kind of evidence or, some kind of markings or something that would indicate.
So, you do know that they have males and females. You do know that they lay eggs. Outside of that, I would need an intelligence check to determine any more specifics to that.
Okay, I'll go.
A little bit of what's determine in terms of their mating habits.
I'll go for it. I have an idea. I want to see if I can make it work.
Oh God.
That's a 7, so it's probably no good.
What was the information that you were looking for? Like, can you frame it in a yes/no answer?
Is Marthow aware of what kobolds are attracted to in terms of smells or pheromones?
No. That's a pretty specialized knowledge.
Does he know their mating call?
That's
If you could right now tell me the mating rituals of Komodo dragons, I will give it to you. Because that's kind of the equivalence.
I can imagine it's kind of like turtles, and they kind of just like move slowly, and like that episode of Futurama where they're all turtle, or there's like Hubert's the turtle, and he's like trying to like bang the other turtle. It's actually a rock. Like that's how I imagine kobolds being.
Okay, then that's probably how you imagine, or Marthow imagines it as well.
Fair enough. I want to cast prestidigitation.
Okay.
Into the tunnel, and there is a smell of fresh rat.
Okay. The smell lingers for a moment. You notice the kobolds kind of pick up a little bit in their yips and yaps, and you can make out them saying something along the lines of, "Do you smell that? Oh, hungry, but no, we can't right now. We have to deal with this first." And then you hear them, "Yeah, they killed Snickers." That was literally the first word that just flowed out of my mouth for some reason, but we're gonna stick with it. So the kobold's name was Snickers, and they clearly want revenge.
In addition to the smell, I'll cast another prestidigitation for an additional effect, or like a puff of wind to down the tunnel to blow the smell into, like to kind of blow it into the room a little bit more.
Marthow, you hear the kobolds yell something that doesn't quite translate, but is effectively cruel pig human feet.
All right. I whisper
some kind of idiom in the kobold usage of Draconic.
I turn to Kolmar and Elmorn and remark, well, I was hoping I could get them to want to come into the tunnel, but it seems they're so much.
Well, maybe they're expecting us to go through that tunnel. Maybe we should go through the door.
The tunnel was well hidden. I doubt they were expecting us to go through it. Besides, it's too small for us. More likely they want us to go through the door. And there's probably a chamber pod full of waste waiting on top of the door to fall on us as soon as we walk through.
Could be.
Charles interrupts and says they probably weren't expecting us to go through the tunnel, but forgive me, sir, you threw a fire bolt into it. So if they were watching it, they may have become aware. Forgive me, sir. I have spoken out of turn.
It's all right, Charles. You bring up valid points. As always, I'm humbled by your wisdom. Well, perhaps we should forget to this route and go through the door then.
Well, we can always blast our way. I mean, they know we're here.
This is true. Elmorn would have to lead the charge. I could shrink him so he can at least make it through.
So we're going through the tunnel? That's our plan?
I think so. I want to. If we're gonna go through the tunnel, then I can shrink Elmorn so he can fit using reduce. So I'll cast reduce on Elmorn.
All right.
All right, so you guys watch as Elmorn, as Marthow touches Elmorn. Elmorn begins to shrink until he's eye level with Kolmar, and then goes even further down until he's probably at Kolmar's chest level.
It feels good to be taller than somebody.
2.5 feet tall.
I'll lead the charge. Get behind me.
How tall is this tunnel again?
Long, you mean?
It's about 10 feet. It's about 10 feet long. At the entrance, it looks to be maybe roughly 2.5, 3 feet in diameter. Like just enough for you guys to. You remember in Aliens when Bishop is going through the tunnel?
I haven't seen Aliens.
What the fuck? Hold on. We need to stop this game for a moment. You have not seen Aliens.
No, I haven't.
Probably the greatest sci-fi action movie of all time.
I know, I just haven't gotten around to watching it. I saw Prometheus.
Oh, God.
Oh, God!
Which I never didn't see Aliens, so.
No! That can't be.
Prometheus is bad.
It is so bad.
I actually saw it with Anna.
Did we see that together?
Wow, it was that memorable.
Wait, we saw it together? Why? When?
Why? Why?
When was this?
Was
To be-
this a
To be fair,
theater
I
that
saw
served
it in
alcohol?
theaters as well.
Wait, when was this, Dustin?
It was at the Naperville Theater.
What?
It was like off Eola Road or whatever.
Yeah, but why did we go see that together?
I don't know. It was
I'm
a double.
confused. Weren't you in Chicago? So you must have been in town.
I don't remember. We saw it together though. But yeah,
Wow.
that was the only one that I saw of that series. So I know.
That is
I
the
missed-
wrong bar to start that franchise off on. All
I
right.
saw Alien.
Well,
There's that too.
oh, Dustin, you don't even know. All right. Well, for those who are up to date with the important Alien movies, do you guys recall when Bishop is crawling through the tunnel trying to get to the other transponder, call the ship down from the mothership? Like blank stares, I'm guessing no.
I've seen it, but I don't remember.
I was gonna say it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
So it's tight enough that you can snake your way through, but it's too tight to be able to, like, your arms are pinned to your sides. They're out in front of you and you're kind of like crawling like this, or they're at your sides and you're crawling like shouldering through. If you're a medium size, Kolmar has a little bit more wiggle room since he's smaller than the average dwarf.
What about Shrunken Elmorn?
Shrunken Elmorn has pretty good mobility in there.
All right.
And
I'll
you still
report
gotta
back
duck,
what I see.
you kind of got to duck your head down a little bit, but you're still good.
All right. I charged through the tunnel to the other side.
Charge through.
No.
Wait a minute. You said charge. Are you going like?
I meant
Yeah.
I run through the tunnel to the other flap.
Okay. What do you do at the flap? And is anyone else in the tunnel with you as you're there?
Wait, what?
Is anyone else in the tunnel with you as you're moving up to it?
I don't think so. Or you guys are staying back, right? Waiting for my report.
Well, I would say once you are to the flap, I will move into the tunnel and tell Marthow and Charles to watch to make sure they don't come through that other door.
And and Martha nods affirmatively.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I want to try and sneak a peek past the flap.
Okay. So you're just kind of poking around,
Yeah.
sort of thing. All
Yeah.
Pay your quarter like everybody else.
Give me a stealth check. And you're in plate armor, so it's at disadvantage.
Right. Here we go. Oh, wait. Okay. Wow. Where's my stealth stat? So I have +1. Okay. 7.
Okay. All right.
All right. So As Elmorn peeks his head around the flap, something immediately explodes right next to Elmorn's head, causing him to startle and lose his balance a little bit. So, Elmorn, give me a dexterity saving throw.
It's a 13. I'm going to use an action point.
Okay.
15.
Okay. So, unfortunately, not quite there. Just missed the cutoff. You kind of stumble, and as you're going through the flap, you get a glimpse of a kobold kind of at the other end, but then you see down below you there's just nothing but darkness. And you begin to fall into that darkness. And then you hit water. And you're struggling to swim and get your bearings. It's completely black. It seems like you were falling for a good couple of seconds, and you guys can hear this loud, the kind of Elmorn's higher than normal pitched voice falling and then splashing into some. Elmorn, as you begin to start getting your bearings, and as your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness, you notice that it's not completely dark. Seeing slight flashes of light every so often within the water, some of them approaching you.
How big is this, how big is this little pool thing that I'm in?
It's probably about, you probably fall in a good 40, 45 feet. So it was a decent belly flop that you just did.
Sure.
Thankfully you're in armor. But the armor is weighing you down a little bit. But so you're working hard to stay afloat, but you're able to do it. The whole kind of room though, where at least the walls, it looks like a very irregular kind of crack in the ground almost. So it kind of comes to a point in one end where the walls get kind of very close together, and maybe even continue on beyond that, but only a couple of inches between the walls, and then it kind of grows out almost like a teardrop shaped room maybe.
Okay.
With the widest end being around 30 feet ish. But as you look down at the water and see these flashes of light, you notice that they're eels. And one brushes against you lightly, sending a bit of a shock through your thigh.
Does what the, oh fuck, never mind. God damn it. Does Marthow need to be near me to unshrink me?
No.
I just need to stop concentrating. If Marthow heard something that could tell him to do so, or give him some indication that he should, then he can at any time.
I yell up to Kolmar, tell Marthow to unshrink me.
Also, Marthow, you can hear the kobolds yip in the sound that they make for laughter, and make fun of Elmorn, saying, "Stupid small one."
Did he hear me say unshrink me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Martha heard that.
Okay, then I'll stop concentrating on reduce.
Okay. So I want to. Like you said, it's like a teardrop shape. Like, am I like in the middle? Am I near like the widest part, or am I near like the most narrow part?
You're kind of near the widest part.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make my way over to.
And the water is also freezing.
Yeah. Well, I want to make my way over to where, like, the most narrow, or at least to a point where I can like press my back against the wall and my legs against the other wall and start like trying to get myself out of the fucking hole.
Okay. So as you do that, you're disturbing the water a lot, and it's bringing more of the attention of these eels over. Give me an athletics check to try and see how far you can get out of the water. Because the walls are very slick, so it's going to be difficult.
Luckily, that armor is not a good conductor of electricity, so you should be fine.
All right, so athletics check.
Mm-hmm.
You said right.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. Action point.
Okay.
God fucking damn it. All right, can I use my boon to enlarge myself, and then I don't even have to get as close to the narrow edge. I can like, because I'll be big, so, and it also give me advantage on athletics.
Yeah, you can do that.
Sweet.
So at least one attempt to go up before you did.
Sure. I fucking failed.
Or so you did one athletics check and you used an action point, right? So what was the result of that?
Say it again.
You used you did an athletics check and you did use an action point. So what was the result of that?
All right. Well, I start to try and ninja warrior myself up the wall, and the soggy, heavy armor just weighs me down, and I just tumble over and splash back into the water. And apparently these eels are starting to notice me.
Yeah, so at that part, they're starting to nibble at you. They're getting a bit interested, and you feel much more intense shocks as they begin exploring whether or not you would be good to eat.
Well, now it's time to make myself too large to eat.
Well, before you do that, you take 16 lightning damage
Oh.
as these things are starting to swarm around you. And now you can use your enlarge ability and make another attempt to go up. And all the while, you kind of notice out of the corner of your eye, and you look up, and about 40 feet up, you can see like what is similar to like the cherry at the end of a cigarette, just bright enough to outline the laughing form of the kobold, and it kind of ducks into the tunnel on the other side, and that's when you notice in the dim light of the cave, because of the shocking eels, that there's kind of like just above the entrance way where you came from, just above the flap, there's like kind of a rough-hewn kind of ladder in the wall that's been carved into the wall, and then like kind of like pins that have been punched through the ceiling to act like kind of monkey bar swings and then a similar ladder on the other side. So the kobold, you see that it actually went up the side of the wall, across the ceiling, and then down the other side of the ladder to get to where it is.
So,
CrossFit motherfuckers.
so you're saying there's a rough-hewn ladder in this pit that I could possibly go to?
Well, if you were able to get to one of the entranceways, but that's about 40 feet up from you right now.
All right, whatever.
So give me your athletics check to try and climb up a bit.
Okay. 25. Fuck you, Kobold.
All right, so you can move up half your speed. So you can get 15 feet up out of the water.
Very good. I do so.
All right, and then what are the rest of you guys doing as this is happening?
Throw me down a rope.
Well, I guess as soon as I heard the noise, I would, and past, I heard him yell, go to the flap and look in to see, what the scene is.
Mm-hmm. So then you would have also seen the kobold kind of laughing, and just before it goes through the other flap.
Okay. Well, I guess I would. Okay. I would have tried to firebolt him before he left, but if I just get a glimpse of him, he's gone then.
Yeah. It would have been just a glimpse.
Is there any stairs that lead down? They just go up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't have any rope. Crap.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I think I got that 10-foot collapsible pole.
Yeah, you still got that.
But I don't know how strong I am to actually pull him up. I might be able to just...
Especially not in his large size. I don't think Kolmar is strong enough to pull an enlarged Elmorn up.
Can I see down there? Can I see these eels?
Yeah. You have dark vision, so you can see pretty... You can see in black and white, so dark vision, technically, you still have a disadvantage on like your perception checks and stuff, but you can make out well enough that these eels are there, and you can see the kobold's ingenuity in taking advantage of this situation and creating a kind of crossway that suits their athletic ability.
Okay, so I'm going to tell yell to Marthow that to start coming this way and bring some rope, and I'm going to try to firebolt one of those eels. Does that work?
They're all below the surface. None of them are coming up.
Oh, okay.
Like you might see the occasional one like lift out and try to chomp at Elmorn, but he's too high for them to actually get very far, and it's too momentary unless you want to ready an action to actually hit any of them.
Okay. What do I know anything about eels?
I'd say you know about as much as your Peter knows about eels.
Okay,
so
I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to firebolt the. Not going to worry about hitting anything. Just hit the water. So maybe I'll heat up the water, and they will make it uncomfortable for them.
Okay.
Because I
So,
can't imagine
as you
this
launch a
area is
couple
that
of-
big.
Okay. So you fire a couple of fire bolts into the water. You notice in those moments that you do, the eels scatter, but then immediately like kind of go to the area where that you hit.
Okay.
Because it kind of, to them, it seems like something's falling to the water. So they're getting out of the way and then attacking, but there's nothing there. Each time you do that, there's a slight puff of steam that rises from the surface. But other than that, you can't see if there's any other difference, or
Okay.
you don't notice any. I don't know if Kolmar would necessarily know what to look for in terms of discomfort for eels, but I also don't know that there's enough visibility to really determine that.
Okay. Well, I see that. I see this behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And tell Elmorn to watch out for the eels.
So now my voice has gone from yeah to yes, I noticed. Thanks. Ass.
Oh, Elmorn, you got to check for egg.
You mean check for egg?
Where was egg during all of this?
I don't know. He's in my pack. That's where he always is. What? Oh God! Don't do this.
Is he a strong swimmer?
Don't do this. All right. I guess I can somehow check my pack while I'm fucking suspended in the air.
So as you check your pack, you're kind of fumbling a little bit to get it into position. It kind of changes how you're holding against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So give me another athletics check.
Okay.
And you have advantage because you're large.
Yes. 24.
Okay. So you're able to do it fine. You look and you see egg there waiting in the pouch, drenched,
Thank you.
looking up at you, but clearly very worried and scared. Down, and then he looks up at you, and then he looks up at you, and then he kind of does one of these.
And then I just shove him back into the pack, and that closes.
All right, what's Marthow doing during all this?
After Kolmar beckons him to come through, I inspect the tunnel, and I think I could probably crawl my way through there, if uncomfortably.
Mm-hmm.
I could inch. So I'm going to try to start inching through the tunnel.
Okay.
Charles,
So you're able to do that.
stay back and guard the other side still.
All right. Charles does that with his silent, stoic self, as usual, maintaining his watch very vigilantly as you move into the tunnel. So you're quite uncomfortable going in. As you move forward through the tunnel, you get a little bit more room. You have a little bit more room for your lungs to expand and breathe, and so you're able to inch up towards where Kolmar is kind of scrunched. And so you guys are right there next to each other now.
Okay. Kolmar, does he still need help out there? Is he all right, or does he still need help? I'm talking to Kolmar.
And I'm talking to no one because I'm muted. There's a pit down there, and it's got a bunch of eels in it. So I think he fell down there, or maybe that was his plan, was to jump down there and kill them. But if you have some rope, we need to throw the rope down so he can get out of there.
A rope. I
should also say that Elmorn is not directly underneath you guys, because the directly underneath where you guys are is kind of the wider end of the tunnel, and he's a little bit off to the side, because taking advantage of the more narrow end of the tunnel.
Can we see him though?
Yeah, you can see him, especially you, Martha or Kolmar.
Okay.
And
so
his shadow is, I mean, the light is fairly dim, but the eels are flashing pretty consistently, which gives a very slight dim glow and almost like a somewhat of a strobe effect.
Well, a rave effect.
He may not want to come
up. Question about smoke sticks. Do they require fire, or do they just emit smoke no matter what?
You break it, and it's an alchemical reaction that causes them to emit smoke.
Okay. I'm going to all right. I don't have any rope. I thought I had. Yeah, I don't have any rope. I thought I had an explorer's pack, but I don't see it on my any of my gear.
Charles must have it.
Charles,
you hear? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I have some right here. I'll get that to you in a moment.
And he also has the finest silk rope that money can buy.
Good.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because he has to meet Marthow's expensive tastes.
Yep. It doesn't bruise, that's why.
Just like Valencia oranges.
So I feel like a heavy weight, or not, like a thump, and I hear it, and I see like a knot of rope kind of plot next to me, and I pull the rest of it through.
Okay. This is because it is rather tight, and although at this end it is you have a little bit more leeway and wiggle room. It does, with the rough-hewn nature of this tunnel, there are some places that are rather sharp, so you are scraping yourself up. So you're gonna take one bludgeoning damage as you maneuver yourself to take care of that.
Fair. So I'll take that damage, whatever the damage is.
Yeah, it's just one damage.
Oh, it's one damage. And then, so are we beyond the flap, or we're still sitting? Have we moved past where the flap is, or are we waiting right outside the flap?
You're not right outside the flap because it's a sheer drop right outside the flap.
Then what we're gonna do is take that rope, and I'm gonna hold on to one end and just start lowering it.
Okay. It might make more sense for Kolmar to be lowering it and helping you with that since he's closer to the edge and he has a lot more
we were
room to work with. You're not right next to each other. You're kind of behind him.
Yeah.
So
he's just feeding me the rope and we're putting it down there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not big enough for you guys to be side by side. It's that tight. You have like maybe a few inches of room on either side of you, Marthow.
Do we know
Kolmar. What?
Do you know how wide this chasm is? Like, So
the chasm is it's a 40-foot drop. It's about 30 feet from one end to another. It's kind of teardrop shaped, and there is like a ceiling that goes up about feet above you.
But the way I was thinking of it is like this teardrop shaped, right? And Elmorn is somewhere in that teardrop, like in the waters there.
Yeah.
And he fell down. So
let me draw it out for you guys. Maybe that'll be a little bit easier.
It's the orgy cave.
I had to run earlier because the dog was trying to escape her little pen. So I had to bring her downstairs. So I got her on a leash next to me, so she doesn't go wander off. She's
excited to overhear some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. She's the one that we got to. They're all rescue, but she was a puppy, and had to keep her in the crate while we were at work. And we had another dog too, and remember coming home one day, opening the door, and there they both are, standing at the door. She got out of the crate and escaped out of it. So she did that a couple times, and I'm like, no, it's just pointless to keep her in the crate because she's going to get hurt. So with that, she took advantage of the couch. Dun dun dun. Dun.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out where. I'm trying, guys.
We're trying.
All right,
okay.
There we go.
That looks good right there. Hold it right there.
Okay.
You.
So
which you is me?
And so Elmorn, you're that weird figure right there. In the small space, that's the crevice where you're kind of inching your way up with your shoulders and your legs, because you're about 15 feet tall now. So you're much bigger than you normally are, which is why you're able to fit there. Which is about 10 feet off to the side from your entrance, and then there's the other side.
Okay.
And that's,
you were saying
the
up there
entrance.
is like the monkey bars and how they get across.
Right, up in the ceiling, that's where that is.
Yeah, like in between those two lines.
Right.
Or like in this empty space in this tier.
Right, so that's like...
Yeah, all right.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, can you put an actual kobold going across so we could see like how they're doing it too?
Sure.
Try to make the kobold as realistic as Like, I want to believe that I'm looking at a kobold climbing across a ladder that's a teardrop shape.
All right, so there is two hands, and then he's got his feet and his tail kind of dangling there. The help?
All right. Yeah.
That looks like a mating dance to Marthow.
Yeah. I think he ate too much lead paint as a kid.
All right.
So Elmorn, just want to make sure your I believe your enlarge ability only lasts for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 1 minute.
Okay.
So it's probably been close to a minute. So you got to do something, or you're gonna end up falling back into the drink.
Throw me a rope.
Yeah, we're working on that rope.
Then if I know my minute's coming up, then I would inch towards the smaller crevice to try and get ready for shrinkage.
All right, give me an athletics check.
Wise words.
I knew you'd appreciate that. 24 again.
Okay, so you're able to inch closer to the crevice, the smaller end of the crevice. Now you're kind of, instead of having your feet and shoulders, you've managed to get it to kind of knees and shoulders. But still, if you were to shrink at this point, it's still a larger than your normal body would be able to cover. And it's probably about 20 feet off center now from where you were.
So what you're saying is I accomplished nothing?
No, you did accomplish something. You're gonna make it easier for. You're gonna give yourself a possibility of staying up, or at least catching yourself
Okay.
in the
You
chasm.
guys are lucky I
if you
fell.
handle it right.
Athletics is my specialty.
But yeah, it is. You are putting yourself in a situation where it is a little bit more difficult to get the rope to you.
Mm.
And also, based on the dimensions that I said, 40 feet and 30 feet wide, a 50-foot rope is not going to be long enough, so we'll just say that it's a 100-foot rope.
Throw me the rope.
Once again, only the finest for Charles and Marthow.
We believe in quality. Quality rope. Quality everything.
Okay, so Kolmar, you throw the rope to Elmorn?
Yep.
All right. So give me an attack roll against AC 10 to see if you can get it near him.
Okay. 13 on the die.
Okay. So you're able to get it to him. Elmorn, you need an athletics check to be able to grab it and not mess with your current position.
23.
All right, you're able to catch it, and you're good now. So you got the rope. You're about 20 feet off center from the entrance. You're about 40 minus 15, so you're about 20 feet down from your compatriots. So you have one more action that you can do before you can start shrinking.
Put all my weight on the rope and pull down Kolmar. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Doesn't your weight could quadruple with enlarge? So you're
everything
190.
you wear and carry. and then your size doubles in all dimension, and your weight is multiplied by 8.
Holy cow.
Damn. So you're like 1,600 pounds right now. 1,600 pounds. So even if Kolmar and Marthow both hit natural 20s on their athletics checks to catch you, you're pulling everybody down.
I don't know, man.
I yell up, hold on tight. No, I'm just kidding. I guess I'll just keep. I have the rope now. I'll just. I don't know. Inch up further. I'm not sure what to do right now.
Can you stop concentrating on enlarge now that you have the rope?
he can end it whenever he wants to.
Yeah. So can you stop concentrating on large, and then now that you have the rope in hand, then you won't weigh 1,600 pounds?
Yeah. All right. I'll unenlarge myself.
Okay.
Actually, that's metagaming. So let Marthow yells down the hole. Elmorn, you're too damn big. We can't possibly pull you up. Can you make yourself smaller?
Oh, I'll get right on that.
All right. So Elmorn, you start to steam away your extra mass and become smaller. As you do, you lose your footing against the wall, and you begin to fall. Thankfully, because you're not directly beneath Kolmar and Elmorn, the transition of your weight doesn't have a direct impact on pulling them, because you're still kind of falling to the side, and it's not directly pulling yet. So then it allows you to, as you get smaller, once the rope does get taut, you kind of begin a pendulum swing. So I need an athletics check from you and for whoever's holding the rope. So if it's Elmorn and Kolmar, I need you guys both to do athletics checks.
Marthow and Kolmar.
Marthow is also pulling.
Yeah. So athletics.
Right. So we're counting, rather than having one of you guys do the help action and the other person doing advantage, we're going to treat it like this is advantage, and you guys just roll twice and you take the better one.
Both of us have advantage?
No. You both rolling are acting as the advantage, but you're each contributing your own modifier and your own
Athletics, huh?
Yeah.
I have a 9.
Okay.
Huh, I have a 10.
And I have a 12.
All right. So, here's what happens.
I can use an action point. Let me use an action point. Before you say what happens.
Okay. What?
Said before you say what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worse.
All right.
Well, I'll give you the better of the two.
So I was going to say I'm going to use an action point too.
Okay.
What do you say about using the better roll, the first one? Okay, let's go with
that. All right. So we have a 9, a what?
A 10.
From Peter, a 10, and a 12. So first of all, Marthow, you're definitely yanked because the tunnel is so tight against you. The natural friction of it, I mean, it hurts, but you're able to kind of act as the anchor for now. But because of that, you take 5 bludgeoning damage.
I was waiting for us all to fall in, and then Charles rescues us at the last minute. He grabs the rope at the last minute, and he's like, "I've got you, sir." We're like all in the hole, and he just pulls us up with his superhuman strength.
No, if he's currently vigilantly watching the door to make sure you guys' backs are safe.
His
because
spidey
you
sense
are
tingles.
all super exposed. You're all super exposed. If the kobolds decided to come up behind you, they could stab you and just be done with it.
Damn it. Right.
But anyways, so that happens to Marthow. Elmorn, you give me another athletics check.
That one's better. 20.
All right. So you actually lose grip for a moment and begin to fall. But to re-get it just in time to not get into the water. So you're still about 5 feet in the water, so you fell about 10 feet.
Okay.
And then you definitely hit the wall on your backswing. So you take in 3 bludgeoning damage. That's including your.
Okay.
And then Kolmar, give me a. You get to choose acrobatics or athletics check.
Oh boy. Oh, acrobatics. I got a +2. Hell yeah. My rogue skills, 21.
All right. You feel yourself stumbling, but you're able to recover before you fall into the drink after being yanked by the force of Elmorn's fall.
Okay, good.
So, firmly got Elmorn. He's swinging, hitting the wall back and forth, but he's not in the water. He is closer to the water, though, and these eels are beginning to leap up and nip and try and get him.
Damn nipping eels.
So,
I raise my feet. Like this?
you
I'm holding on like this?
there's at least 3 that attempt to nip at you, but each one of them misses as you're lifting your feet up each time.
Anytime now, gents.
Are those eels back? Or are those eels bothering you again?
They look hungry.
Hold on, I have an idea. And Martha is still holding, and he tries to get the rope in a good position, and so he's can get one hand free, and he's gonna grab his smoke stick and hit it against a rock to ignite it or to activate it, and then he throws it into the water.
Okay.
So you fill the tunnel with the smoke, and it doesn't smell good. It kind of burns your lungs, and it begins to cause you to cough, but nothing serious or painful, just kind of an irritant. And then you throw it into the water, and after it goes into the water, you can kind of see a little bit of a bubbling, but it doesn't seem to continue to make the smoke as much, and it's not making the water any more turbulent necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, since it's more of an alchemical reaction rather than a magical one, the water kind of inhibits that smokiness a little bit.
I see. Well. Is it working, Elmorn?
No.
Damn.
Pull me up.
All right. So, are you climbing up, Elmorn, or are you waiting for them to pull you up?
I am attempting to climb up, but I would prefer some help.
Okay. So everybody give me athletics checks again.
Oh, God. All right, don't fuck this one up. All right. 21.
15.
8.
All right. Since it's not the initial fall, I'm taking the better of Marthow and Elmorn. Marthow and Kolmar. So the 15 is fine. Good enough to pull you, but it is good enough to make sure that they're anchoring you. And you're able to get up another 15, climb up another 15 feet. So that brings you to 20 feet total. So you have another 20 feet that you need to get up. Are you just going to try and keep climbing in this fashion, or are you going to try something else?
20 feet, you say?
Yeah.
Hold on. Aha. Can I see the other side of this chasm?
Yeah.
I can see the top of it though, where like the end of the monkey bars goes.
Yeah.
All right. I wanna cast Misty Step and teleport to the other side of this fucking chasm.
How far does Misty Step allow you to go? 30 feet?
Yeah. Too far?
Yeah, because you're
All right, can I go just straight up?
You're
'Cause I'm
still
20 feet from,
20 feet down,
Yeah.
and you're still you can
Can I
go
just-
straight up.
Straight up then?
There's not a whole lot of room for you with Kolmar at the entrance since it's still tight.
Okay.
But you can teleport. You can teleport just above him to get a handholds just above the tunnel.
Well, if I look across the chasm and I notice that I can't teleport there, and then I look up and I notice that there's not really much room for me to teleport, and I look at my spell slots and I'm like, oh, I only have 2 of these. And then I'm like, never mind, let's just keep climbing. So
If you want to use an action point, I can increase the distance of the Misty Step.
Intriguing. All right, let's do it.
All right. So that leaves you with what? 1 more action point?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're able to Misty Step to the other side.
Describe it. Describe it, goddammit.
I will in a moment. I do want to point out the sudden lack of weight that Elmorn or Marthow and Kolmar had been pulling now jerks them back a little bit. It doesn't do too much for Marthow since he's kind of on his stomach and pretty well anchored. But it definitely jitters Kolmar a bit.
I'm waiting for the
He kind of
splash.
teeters.
He must have fallen in, waiting for the splash.
Oops. Elmorn, are you okay?
Wait, the DM needs to describe how I teleport? I want to hear it.
Well, I don't know what it looks like visually because I feel like you should be the one to kind of describe the visual elements of your own teleport magic.
Oh, that's fine.
But
And it just says silvery mist.
Right. Your armor begins to undulate as you into a silvery mist.
Yeah, it does actually. It does because it's like that mirage undulation.
Yeah.
Quick mirage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then leaving behind a silvery mist, and you suddenly appear on the other side. The foothold is very small, but you're anchoring yourself with one hand on one of the kind of ladder steps that have been carved into the tunnel above it.
All right. And then you guys are like, "Oh, Elmorn, are you okay?" And I say, "Over here, fellows. I'm fine. Thanks for your help. Not really."
Yeah.
Okay, so make our way across then.
Okay, so what's happening with Charles?
Charles, we're going to go this way. We're going to continue on. Come join us. Yeah.
Through the
Charles,
tunnel, sir.
What'd you say?
Through the tunnel, sir, or through the door.
Through the tunnel. We don't know what's on the other side of that door. It would do no good to get yourself all cut up.
Very good, sir. Be there shortly. All right, so I assume Kolmar is going to be going first. So, give me an athletics check.
What the hell?
Because you're climbing this stone indentations made to be kind of like ladder grips, and then swinging yourself across these climbing pitons or pittons. So,
All right. Well, I'm going to use an action point because that was pretty terrible, and that was worse.
Is it less than 10?
Oh yeah. All right, here we go. Third roll is a charm. They say. Oh yeah, there we go. What'd you say? Athletics.
Yes.
Total of 20.
Okay. So you're able to not just normally you'd only be able to move at half speed. So as a dwarf, that's like 13 feet, and it's a 20-foot. But you're with the 20, you're able to you're feeling pretty confident in yourself, a little bit cocky, and you kind of launch yourself that last couple of feet and land somewhat next to Elmorn, although the space is getting really tight. And so if Marthow is going to, and especially Charles, is going to have any kind of ability to go with you guys, at least one of you are going to have to go beyond the flap on the other side, and whatever may be there.
I'll go through the flap to the other side, and I'm going to cast Fly on myself.
Okay, you're casting Fly?
Yes.
So then you don't even need to worry about all those athletics checks and everything.
I feel like you should do your gaseous form thing. And just
Negative one, with a negative 1 modifier, Martha doesn't want to do athletic checks.
All right, so you're able to, glide aloft. However, because of the way Marthow and Kolmar and Elmorn are kind of bunched up, you're not able to push past them to go through the flap without jostling one of them enough that one or both of them risk falling.
Okay. Can I just hover there while they figure it out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you able to push through? We at least need to get Charles across.
I say it's your turn,
Yes.
Kolmar. I already fell into a pit of eels.
Okay, so I will move forward then.
All right. Just as you're beginning to move forward, you see Charles hop through, and he attempts the climb across, and he stumbles a little bit. It's pretty clear that he's having a little bit of trouble, but thankfully, because there's a +5 modifier to his athletics check, he's just barely able to avoid dunking, but isn't able to get to move forward. So he's just kind of hanging there, and he's looking at you guys, and he says, "Oh, no concerns here. Momentary glitch. I shall be there shortly."
Can we throw him the rope just in case he falls? Can we have him fasten it to himself?
No, sir. I cannot afford to let go to catch a rope. However, with your flying, if you so choose to tie it around my waist for me.
I will do that, actually. That's a great idea, Charles. I knew you were with us for a great reason. Besides your ever wondering wit.
Very good, sir.
I'll fly over to Charles, and I'm gonna tie the rope snugly around his waist.
Thank you, sir. As always, you are a gentleman and a scholar.
Oh, you. And I'll fly back to I could try to help Charles out here by aiding him. However, I have a -1, so I could try to help him if that would give him advantage to try to make his athletic checks.
Because of your unique position of flying, you could even carry him if you wanted to.
Okay. I didn't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
How much weight for just general reference, how much weight can I support while flying? Is an additional person or 2 additional people?
Yeah, no, I'd say it's no more than 1 additional person. Any more than that would require some additional, either some kind of additional check or use of action point to kind of surge your magical ability, but that would just be brief more than likely.
Okay, then I'll scoop Charles up in my arms, and I will bring him to the entrance of the mouth.
As Kolmar goes to move forward, he looks back and sees Marthow scoop up Charles and is like, "Well, I've seen that before," so and I proceed forward.
Oh, very good, sir. Was not expecting this level of help, but as always, greatly appreciated.
You have my back, Charles, and I have yours. That is the way we have always rolled and the way we shall continue. Mm-hmm.
Indeed, sir. Allow me the benefit of giving you a massage as we cross this chasm.
Yes, this is most appropriate.
Before I reveal what's in the next room, let's take a brief break
Okay.
and
All
get
right.
some drinks and stuff. Also, how late are you guys willing to go tonight? I'm willing to go to about 11:30. Were you guys wanting to go shorter than that or longer than that?
That's fine with me, but leave it up to the others.
11. Good. 11:15.
Okay. Shoot for 11:15.
Into 11:15 Central.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about another 50 minutes ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
my friends went to Scotland. They brought me back some Lagavulin.
Nice.
It's like super smoky. It's really good.
Yeah. Been to Ireland and I had Bushmills from the Bushmills distillery. It was pretty sweet.
I don't think I've had Bushmills.
It's not my favorite whiskey, but it's pretty good. In terms of Irish whiskey, I prefer Jameson.
Yeah, Jameson's good.
So there's a possibility from work I might have to be out in Peoria every so often.
Oh God. Why?
So there's a DCFS office out there.
Well, I'm sorry.
So they need coverage every once in a while. Like my job could potentially take me all over the state.
Yeah.
From cornfield, the shining cornfield.
That's what I was gonna say. Not
Indeed.
much outside of Chicago, other than cornfields.
My my general memory of small town Illinois is like Hawk when we were driving down to SIU and we stopped somewhat outside of St. Louis and we got pulled over by that sheriff and he was like, "Oh yeah, you boys going to the titty bar?" I'm really convinced that we were going to the titty bar, and he's just like,
What?
"We're like going." "Oh no, sir, we're just rugby players. We're just heading down this for a tournament at SIU." It's like, "Are you sure you ain't going? I hear they're nice down, and you know it's a nice place." Like, trying to get us.
And then he was like telling us that we had to turn the music down because they could hear it all the way through, but we had our windows up and it wasn't even that loud.
Yeah. That's my quintessential small town Illinois is
No.
Sounds like a fucking idiot.
titty bars.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh yeah. There's not much else out there. You don't get good cell reception, so the internet can't be great. So
Ways to entertain yourself.
Thanks. Thank you.
bless you.
Thank you.
Still haven't heard from Brendan. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope so too. He's probably just got caught up with stuff. It might help. You sent it 2 hours
I
before
sent it
the
pretty
game
late.
time. It might be helpful if you sent it like in the morning or the evening before.
I'll work on doing that. I know I was doing that for a while and I kind of got out of that habit. So
Because it very well like maybe something came up and like
yeah,
he just like 2 hours like that. I don't remember. It's like 12:30 is like that's that game time. That's the equivalent. So like maybe like that would
I
be
think
like
it's like yeah,
so.
it's sometime around noon, afternoon for him.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just this idea.
All right, we're ready.
Yep.
All right, so Kolmar, you're the one going in, right? You're going in first.
Yep.
You trying to be stealthy, or you just whipping it out?
I'm gonna have to be stealthy.
Okay. Give me your stealth check.
Big old stealth roll, 18.
Oh.
Alright.
Hammer. You can't even hear it coming.
You pull back the leather flap and kind of gaze around. You're getting a sense of the area to do it in a way that doesn't draw attention. It's completely pitch black on the other side.
Okay.
However, because you do have dark vision, you can still see many of the details around you within 60 feet of you. So what you do see is that this room is similar to the other one in that it is kind of a rounded room, circular room. That is about, what was the other one? About 40 feet in diameter.
Yes.
So this one is also about 40 feet in diameter. 10 feet beyond the point, 10 feet beyond your, from the flap, the room looks like a tangled web. Like it is like, think of one of those obstacle course type web things, but it's like 30 feet of it just filling the room. You also notice a very pungent odor, which you easily determine to be oil.
Whale.
Whale?
Oil.
Okay.
Oh. So it's a 40-foot diameter circular room. There's oil, a pungent odor of oil coming on the other side. Is there a chasm in the middle?
No, here's the floor is pretty intact. There's a number of rat corpses, but not to the same extent as the other room. And then also there are cracks in the walls and everything like that. It looks like well, without light, this is the best detail you can see. It looks like just a giant web.
Okay, so how close to the web? How close am I to this web?
10 feet away from it. Also, where is Snickers?
You mean Sam?
Oh, you weren't around. Well, Snickers was his name before you named him Sam.
Oh, okay. I guess when he gets really angry. He is back in the other room, watching that door.
Okay. So, also give me a perception roll.
I think that's it. Yeah, 10.
All right, you can hear from within the room the faint kind of yip and chatter of the kobolds, but they're doing it very, very quietly, intentionally so, like whispering. And because of the acoustics in the room, you're having difficulty picking out exactly where they are.
Okay.
But it does seem that they are some distance apart from each other.
Okay. So this web is like 10 feet in front of me. I touch the ground. Is the oil on the ground, or I just smell it?
You just smell it.
Okay.
When you touch the ground appears dry.
Okay, good, because I'm going to firebolt the web.
Okay. So you firebolt the web, and that instantly it starts to blaze. The web is very easily caught there. For those of you that are not yet in the room, you're smelling the smoke and seeing it coming, swirling around Kolmar. You notice in the distance the surprised look of both kobolds on the opposite end of the room. One of them seems to be holding a lever and looks at you, and you hear them like chirp and chitter, and then they run to the through the other door. So Marthow, you heard them and understood what they said, and I'm going to send it to you. Oh, it's two voices that you can clearly distinguish. And there, sent. Now, Kolmar, because with the light in the room, you're seeing more detail. The web is not actually a web, but a system of taut ropes that have been kind of crisscrossed throughout the room, bolted into the stone floor, walls, and ceilings by pittons similar to the ones that were in the ceiling that you guys climbed across. To make a jumbled web.
So somebody spent a lot of time doing this. A lot of craftsmanship was put into this whole intricate web system.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
These kobolds are mocking us. And we're doing their job for them.
Doing their job for them.
I'm not sure if it was such a good idea that we burn that. But I also think that perhaps had we not, they would have done something along the same lines.
Well, maybe if I don't know if we seem to be.
Sorry, go on.
If we seem to be helping them, maybe we should negotiate and assist them.
Kolmar, give me a perception check.
Oh yeah, 4.
All right. You don't notice anything.
Good.
I believe in bargaining with kobolds.
What languages do you speak, Martha?
I speak Draconic and Common.
All right, you guys have time for one action each.
Okay.
So are you guys just sitting there talking while these webs are burning then? Casually? So at Marthow and Elmorn, did you go in to this place?
From what I understood,
did you-
you're at the point where Kolmar in front of us, and we just see like smoke and probably like flickers of light.
Yeah, so Kolmar, have you walked further into the room, or like are you continuing to block the way for the others to get through, or?
Well, I was figuring that I peeked into the room and saw this and then fire bolted it, so I'm kind of like right there at the doorway.
Okay.
But if I needed to get in all the way to get it, I would have.
No, you wouldn't have needed to get
Okay.
in all the way to firebolt it. But so you're just kind of looking back and having this conversation with Martha, asking him what languages he speaks.
Yeah, because I'm afraid that the kobolds know common, and will hear what I'm going to try to tell him. So I'm just trying to figure out a way we can communicate without them knowing.
Oh, I have that information for you. 1 second while I pull it up for you. In my spreadsheet, I had the languages that you all had common to one another and the ones that you had separate.
I speak Dwarvish.
Okay. Do you speak Draconic?
No.
Crap.
The kobolds.
So-
Yeah, we don't want the kobolds to understand.
Okay,
us.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dwarven is common between Kolmar and Elmorn, but the only languages that Marthow speaks are Common and Draconic, so.
Okay.
Don't know how you guys want to handle that.
Well, I just say in common to Martha that I'd like to try to negotiate with these guys. Maybe they can help us.
Bring the chamber down on our heads before we decided to do it ourselves. I do not think that they would negotiate, nor are we really in a position where they would be willing to negotiate with us.
Well, I think once we show them all the gold and silver we have, maybe they would be interested.
I do not. Good idea. However, I think it is more pressing. I think we have. I don't know. I think it's a good idea, but we can try. I can I yell out to the kobolds. We wish to bargain. Your names, or what are your names?
So because they're in another room, and there is the sound of the fire, which is growing. It's unclear if they actually hear you. They definitely don't respond, obviously. And that is when you guys notice the sound of a large crack coming from the ceiling. Kolmar, being the only one in a position to look, looks up at the ceiling, and a slow dawning of dread overcomes Kolmar as he realizes that the pungent odor of the oil was coming from the large oil casks suspended over the room, held by the same ropes that he has begun burning. So it's very clear that this was a trap that the kobolds were planning to execute anyways as you guys got tangled into the room. But now, rather than being in the room, you are in a very small, centralized space. The explosion is focused as the oil casks fall from the ceiling, breaking open and just unleashing a hellish fireball that engulfs the entire room, blowing at you guys. So each of you give me a dexterity saving throw.
15.
And Anno, Dustin, and Charles are at disadvantage because you guys don't even see it coming.
15.
5.
All right, and then Charles.
Let me do an action. Roll that.
11. Charles got 11.
Ah, sweet, that's much better. All right, I got a 12. I had a nat 20, unfortunately. That disadvantage didn't.
That sucks.
And I'm gonna use Ben Luck to augment that, and I'm gonna add a D6 to my 12. So it's 14.
Okay. So Marthow got 14. What did Elmorn and Kolmar get?
15.
19.
Okay. So Marthow and Charles both failed. Kolmar and Anu succeeded. So if you succeeded, you only take 40 points of fire damage.
What?
If you failed, you take 80
Oh, fuck.
and are knocked into the drink.
God damn.
I mean, I only had, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I would have died.
So we're all at vitality points then?
Yep.
I still got hit points.
How the hell?
So, yeah, Kolmar's got a sick number of hit points. But yeah, Dustin, you can try and make a concentration check to maintain fly. But unless you hit a nat 20, I don't think you're going to hit what you need to do. Because that would be a DC 40.
Gonna do my lucky die.
Go. There it is.
17. I rolled a 17, so.
I'll let you use your Tides of Chaos to re-roll it.
My Tides of Chaos is actually spent.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't
All
think
right. So
that
then, what's that? What'd you say?
I think at the end of last session, Tides of Chaos, and I don't recall.
You're right. So it probably normally would have been triggered with your fly spell. But since we forgot that,
Reduce.
what's that?
It would have first been triggered at the reduce spell, like when we were.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the first spell cast.
So we'll just keep it in the bank, and next spell you cast will be we'll do Wild Magic Surge.
Okay.
But you and what's that?
I can use an. I don't know if it's worth using an action point to maybe get a nat 20. So
That's up to you. I mean, 5 times out of 100, it's a winner.
You may need it for something else.
Yeah, I was just.
So are you knocked? Are both of them knocked unconscious into the water?
Well, they're not unconscious; they're just dispirited. But they did get both knocked into the water. So now the eels are taking interest in them. The cool water is also quite a shock after sustaining such severe burns. So I think that it's at this point that you realize, especially Kolmar, having seen the setup that they had, that these kobolds are not only very intelligent and probably very paranoid, but also have had a great deal of time things together.
Yeah, that's what I tell Marthow and Charles. They're really smart, and they've had a lot of time. Watch out for the eels.
Oh, and Marthow and Marthow and Charles have the rope.
Yes, they do. Well, at least we don't have to throw it to them.
So, can I to make so I'm not concentrating on fly anymore since we're in the drink.
Right.
Am I able to concentrate on any other spells at this point, or do I need to? Am I so disoriented because of the burns, because of the splash, because of everything that's gone on, that I'm kind of not able to concentrate on anything?
So because you're swimming, it's more about whether or not the spell has somatic components, because being able to pull off the intricate motions that you need to make while keeping yourself afloat is difficult. So if you wanted to do that, you would either need to make a athletics check to swim without using your hands, kind of tread water, or an arcana check to try and modify the somatic component enough that you can pull it off while swimming. If it doesn't have a somatic component, then it doesn't matter. You can do it regardless.
Yes. It so you couldn't do that.
Which one were you looking at?
I was thinking about using twin spell.
Twin spell?
Yeah, like like the meta magic. The twin spell. You can use it if it doesn't have a range of self. So if you can't, you have to be able to like cast it on something else, and not yourself. I guess I'm not. I guess the way I'm reading it is that you can twin a spell if you're attacking or if you're casting it not on yourself.
Spell are you thinking about?
Which
Are you doing fly?
probably gaseous form at this point.
As a range of touch, it's not a range of self.
What is range of self? Is that like
That just means that you're the only possible target for the spell.
okay.
But with both fly and gaseous form, the range is touch. So you touch one willing creature, which could be yourself, and you can twin it. The thing is that you would need to be able to be in range to physically touch all the targets that you're intending to use it with. So you can twin both gaseous form or fly.
I'm gonna. Do I see Charles?
Yes, he is in quite a bit of pain. And he says, "Sir, are you okay?" As you see his burns kind of bubbling on his face. He's more concerned about you than himself.
What a guy.
I would be remiss if I said I haven't been better, but let's get out of here. We need to take a break. So I'm gonna swim over to him.
Swim over just before you can do your casting and stuff. The eels hit both of you.
Friggin' eels.
Marthow, you take 6 electrical damage. Charles will take 9 electrical damage.
What? Are you trying to kill Charles?
Charles is fine. He's still got 11 vitality points.
Why is Charles even on this adventure with us? He should be tending to the handsome man.
He would be if Petrie were a coward.
All right, so I'm going to then do a twin on using gaseous form. With gaseous form, we can float up, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a very slow fly speed, but it's a fly speed.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. At least that way we have a resistance to physical damage.
You see as Charles makes his slow transformation into his gaseous form, his eyes go wide, and he kind of shakes his head with his old jowls kind of shaking longer than his head. And he's like, "Sir, forgive me, but I do not like this."
It'll only be short. And like as I'm saying that, like I just imagine like coming out of every orifice as turning into gaseous Marthow.
All right, so you guys are both gaseous, and I imagine you're both different colors, and you kind of, as you float up, you kind of twirl around each other, leaving those trails.
Yep. Twin Rova or Twin Nova from Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm. So, Kolmar and Elmorn, as you look into the room, the explosion created, put out a lot of the fire, but there's still a couple of small puddles that are still flaming, and most of the rope is ash. You also notice an anvil in the center, or in front of the door, and then that's when you put two and two together that because one of the kobolds was kind of at a lever and was waiting for the first person to come through that door to drop an anvil on him, like a literal anvil.
Wow. Okay.
These guys Looney Tunes cartoon villains.
So, yeah, so you guys are now in that room. Marthow and Charles are continuing to be gaseous.
You guys can smell it.
Well, we're pretty fucked up right now. At least I am. I don't feel like continuing on until I get some rest. I'm not about to die to some kobolds.
Can I do a quick check of the room to see if there's any other entrances other than the ones they went out?
Give me an investigation check.
Big money. 24.
Okay. It actually does look like there are a couple of potential tunnels similar to the one that you guys saw at the that you guys just came through. Actually, they're not covered in the leather flaps, in part because they were blown to bits in the explosion. But it looks like there's a couple of vents, or so to speak, probably made by these kobolds because it's in the same vein as the other ones, and it's becoming more and more apparent that these kobolds have been here for a long time to be able to do all of this.
Are the vents down low or up high?
A couple of them appear to be in the ceiling, although there's only like 2 of those ones. Mostly, they're either in the wall or in the ground.
Okay. Well, this place has got a bunch of vents.
It's probably a total of 2 in the ceiling and 4 in the floor and the walls. So 6, not including the one you guys came through. So 7 total, plus the 2 doorways.
We can try to rest. I don't know how safe it is, but we may not have no choice.
We can We can rest for just an hour, right? And then we can use hit die to restore health. So it doesn't have to be like a long rest, just like a short rest. I just need to sit down for a few moments.
Yeah, I think short rests really only are a few minutes anyways. It's not like an hour, at least not in the way that I remember it being described in the player's handbook.
So then you would allow me to use hit die right now to restore some health?
Mm-hmm.
And how many hit die do I have? 6?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do hit die in your campaign?
You roll and add your con modifier to each roll.
Ooh, I rolled a 10. So 11. And do you have a limit on how many of my hit die I can use during this rest?
No, you can use them all, but you only recover hit dice of half your hit die per long rest.
Okay. Then I'll use half of them now. 8 and then 7. So 8 and then 7. Oh wait, did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. Okay, so now I'm at 26 health hit points.
Okay. Martha, are you planning to use any hit die to heal yourself?
Have tried to where they're at by this point, because it's only like 10. We only have a 10 movement speed, so it's slow. All right. Then I'll seeing that it's safe, I'll end the concentration. So we'll next to Elmorn and Kolmar, they see this colored smog, and it begins to coalesce into what they can start to recognize as Marthow and Charles. And then yeah, I'll rest with them and I'll use my hit die.
Okay. So right now you're at 0 hit points and
What?
And 10 10 vitality points, right?
Yes, I'm at 10.
Okay. So when you, unlike with magical healing, when you spend hit dice, you do have to refill vitality points before you can start refilling.
But can I use all my hit dice, or am I limited to a certain number per short rest?
No, I think you can use as many as you want or need, but you only regain half per long rest.
Half per long rest.
Yeah, so if you when you get a long rest in, you'll recover 3 hit dice. And then when you get another long rest in, you'll recover another 3.
Use 3 hit dice for now.
Okay.
And that's 5. 4 is 9. It's 15. So I get 15. So that bumps me back to that bumps me up to 9 full vitality and 9 Almost never take short rest, so I'm gonna also come at it. Just.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
I'm gonna use my last 3 hit die to regain.
Okay.
Oh, those are terrible rolls. 13. So I add
Okay.
to it. 7 plus 6. 13. So I'm at 23 hit points. And hit dice.
So Charles used all of his hit dice as well. So he's at full vitality points and 26 points. All right. So I think that's probably a good stopping point, unless you guys wanted to continue on.
Let me use some hit die before. Oh boy. 10. Let's see. Oh, no, that's wrong. So 2, 7, 16 total. So that should get me full vitality and up to 31, I think.
What was your total at?
For what?
What were your hit points and vitality points at?
Vitality was 11 and hit points was 24.
Okay. All right. And were you using your wizard or rogue hit dice?
I used 2 8-siders, so that would have been rogue and 1 wizard. So I used 3 out of the 6.
Okay. So now you're at full vitality, and how many hit points? 24, you said?
31 now.
31. All right.
Can I do a quick look to see what one of these doors or vents that seems to be used the most?
Yeah, and because you're a dwarf, that allows you to use your stone cunning, so you can double your proficiency bonus, and it'll be based on intelligence.
And I rolled a 4.
Well, good thing you're pretty intelligent dwarf, and
So plus
Yeah,
3, so it'd be plus 6, so 10. I guess it's a 10.
wait, your total is 10?
Yeah, if you said double the intelligence bonus, right?
No, double the proficiency, and you're using intelligence. So double proficiency bonus is 6, so that's 10, and then your intelligence is 3, so that's 13.
Okay, good.
So you have a feeling that there's one in the wall, not too far away from the door, based on the kind of scratch marks and some of the slight, almost imperceptible depressions of it. That is probably the one that's used most often.
Okay. Is this vent at like our level or is it up high?
No, it's at ground level.
Okay. if I can't pick it up, I'm going to push, but I'm going to move the anvil in front of it.
Now, just because I'm interested to see, I want to see what an average anvil weighs. All right, so looks like anvils average anywhere between 75 to 500 pounds. So we'll cut the difference in half and say that it's in between 575 divided by 2. So it's about 300 pounds, which I think is weight range. So yeah, you can push it.
Okay. Yeah, I push it in front of that vent.
Okay.
All right. That's all I'm going to do.
Is that where you guys want to call it for the night?
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point.
Sounds good.
What are you guys thinking about this this change where you guys are fighting more it seems like you're fighting the environment Home Alone style more than any specific.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Home Alone style. Yeah, I'm surprised these kobolds came up with these elaborate ass traps. Fucking bastards.
Marthow still doesn't
What's-
believe that they're that smart. He refuses to give. Marthow refuses to give credit to kobolds, especially of this kind. If anything, he thinks that their boss is smart, or whoever is controlling them is smarter. Not the kobolds themselves that are engineers.
Wasn't it Elmorn that made fun of Baba for getting killed by kobolds?
I believe we all made fun of Baba for getting killed by kobolds.
Yeah, well, he just said they caught him by surprise. They didn't build an elaborate fucking trap for him to fall into or whatever. Or get blown up by. Jesus Christ. I think it's interesting, the whole versus the environment thing.
It makes you think, you know? It's not just like
Right.
jumping between enemies. It's like, all right, who or how do we actually get out of this?
Yeah. I think
I
my only gripe. Oh, go ahead.
Huh?
I was just gonna say my only gripe is it took way too long for me to get out of that pit. I feel like that was the whole first half of the session.
Yeah, that took a bit longer than I expected as well. But I thought it was interesting and fun still. Because
it was good.
there were a lot of elements to it going in there, and that was pretty clever thinking on your part, Elmorn, to kind of wedge yourself and be pushing yourself up that way.
Yeah, no, it was good. It does make you think, like Dustin was saying. It's not just like, oh, do attack, an extra attack, and smite, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're gonna have a party wipe when that barrel. I kind of thought that's heading. I was like, man. Is that the end?
Is that the end of McCormick's Folly? No, that I did that intentionally to be very tough because obviously you guys are eventually going to fight kobolds, and kobolds are not very strong. So I got to give them some kind of edge.
Yeah, no.
But also,
yeah. So basically, you have to make it through hell to slaughter these little fuckers at the end, right?
basically. But also, you know, I designed it very specifically so that you can't start taking away vitality points before all of your hit points are gone, and they don't. So that way, it kind of protects players from instances of horrible luck or unfortunate planning, which is my nice way of saying stupidity. To protect the players so that there isn't that one-shot TPK type situation. Yeah, I was very surprised that Kolmar shot the ropes and burned them so quick.
Yeah,
Didn't even think about it. Just like, oh, ropes, let's burn those.
Well, no,
I'll show Marthow for burning my tripwire.
No, well, when you described it, it was the kobolds, and they had a lever, and there was some kind of web. And I thought either maybe they're going to release some spider, or they're going to do something. So when I wasn't really thinking ropes. I'm thinking this is some kind of webbed creature, or they're going to try to catch us in the web. And I was like, well, if I just burn that web up, they can't do that. But it was not a web.
Yeah. I did do that ambiguous intentionally because it kind of demonstrates that while dark vision is pretty awesome, it has its limitations.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not a criticism. It's
sorry. Oh no, yeah, I know. I'm just
yeah, that's fine. And definitely the whatever explosion certainly rocked the shit out of us.
Yeah, I was thinking, even if you were thinking the web thing, that the smell of oil might be a deterrent.
Well, I thought that they would try to catch us on fire. That's why I asked if there was any in front of me, because I didn't want to catch myself on fire. So I thought there was a fire element to it. I thought maybe, you know, that was the plan, was to catch us in the web, and they're going to set us on fire. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah. So what I was thinking in my head was going to happen as I was designing this is that the kobolds would just be kind of pecking away at you with like their crossbow bolts, and you guys would be trying to get through the tangled mess, which would require acrobatics checks at like half speed, and then kept in there. Then they would try to burn the ropes, and then you'd have 2 rounds to do something before the casks exploded. He burned the ropes and just stood there having a casual conversation about, hey, what language you speak?
Well, because I was
gonna. So like from Marthaw's perspective, he couldn't see. He didn't think he could see anything. You know.
Yeah. No, you couldn't have seen any of that.
Yeah, he didn't know what was coming. So I had to, he had to play it like everything was hunky dory.
Yeah, I thought you guys did a really awesome job, both playing your characters and also using the knowledge that was available to your characters. So, yeah. All right, so everybody's good for next week, Wednesday?
Yep.
Should be good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. All right,
and I'll make sure I send out the reminder a bit earlier for people. Hopefully Brennan is okay.
Hopefully. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Take it easy.
All right,
guys.
take care.
All right.
Bye.